My name is Naffy Napkin, and I've been accepted into the Spool of November Institute of Technology, which is located in Surabaya, hundreds of kilometers away from my previous domicile in Jakarta. In a new environment and being so far away from family and friends means I'd have to become independent. And one of the main concerns everyone has is, hey, what am I gonna eat? That's what led me down a rabbit hole of unhealthy habits and desperation, which I intend to display through the series. This is College Kitchen. Mamasuka is a subsidiary of Daisang Ingredients Indonesia, starting in 2001 with a mission statement to bring motherly love into cooking. Curiously, in Mamasuka's line of cake and dessert products, you can find cream soup. That's what I'm reviewing. I have two choices here, chicken and corn. Well, when you can't decide, you choose both. I'm comparing these two. My hypothesis is that only the physical ingredients are different, but the cream soup itself is exactly the same. Quite a few problems. The dispersion of physical ingredients might not be correct, as well as the package not telling the water to powder ratio, meaning I have no idea how much water to add. And I'm not even sure I properly halved the powder each, so this is definitely a flawed review and a failed experiment for the lack of variable control. Instructions. Pour package contents into a pan containing 650 milliliters of water. Stir well until dissolved. Cook and stir frequently until boiling, then reduce the heat, still stirring for 1 minute. Pour into a bowl and serve hot. There's actually another very important side dish that really completes this meal. Croutons. Put bread on George Foreman grill, wait till it pings, and enjoy. Here it is. Here's the food. Can't believe I've made a 3-course meal over here. I know soup is very time and heat sensitive. I made this one 20 minutes earlier because I had to make this one right afterwards. I also grilled my bread, which is already kind of cold, and I had to set up all the recording equipment. So let's just dig into it. I'll tell you right now. This is the corn one, I think, and this is the chicken soup. Appearance. This one has a stronger yellow to it, and that would make sense because it's the corn one. And this has a lighter yellow. This is pretty much what I expected. I didn't expect them to actually be different colors though. I thought they used the exact same formula. Or maybe, I don't know, light refracts differently in the smaller bowl. On some fun facts, this bowl is actually part of a spaghetti strainer. It used to be part of this thing, but I just use this bowl for cereal because it's handy. That's really all I can say for now. There doesn't seem to be anything in the soup from the surface level. There's these dots here. I don't know what that is. And this is just blank. I guess the physical ingredients just don't go up. Float. Texture-wise, this is a bit more creamy. Maybe I should expound on that statement. There's the corn. I think it's mixed in with parts of the powder that didn't mix properly, and that's always a problem that I have with cream soup. I just leave it on standby instead of actually mixing it. Anyways, this is more creamier than this one, which just feels watery. It could just be because I put in the wrong amount of water for both of them. I think this is a piece of chicken, but it could also just be powder. I can't tell what they are. The nature of the soup itself, they're pretty good. Alright, let's start with the corn one, because this one's getting cold. I can't tell if this camera angle is right or not. It's still lukewarm, so it's not that cold, but I wished it was hotter. I guess that was my fault. I knew reviewing just one of these might have been a bit boring, because it just tastes like cream soup. Is it the proper amount of creaminess? And creaminess is a variable here. I don't know, because I don't know what proper creaminess is. I want Future Napkin to edit Ratatouille, the scene where Anton Ego zooms into his eyes, and then it goes back to his former child self. Because I'm reminiscing about how my mother made soup, and I don't know if it probably isn't this exact packet, but the way she made them is that she used flour and mixed it in water, so she made a roux, then added tons of milk and water and then the powder itself, and also a bunch of corn. I can't do any of that preparation. And I would say that one is obviously better than whatever this is. But if all you had to do was just heat water, then this is a good substitute.
The cream.
That is surprising. Okay, there might actually be a substantial difference between the corn one and the chicken one. I'm really surprised. Okay, substantial is pushing it. There's definitely a difference. Maybe you can even have a preference over one of them. And I'll try to explain what the differences are. The main one, the chicken soup, has like pepper in it. It's like kind of spicy, but in a black pepper kind of spice. While fucking what is this? Corn soup does not have any of that. It's just kind of watery. Yeah. Like, it feels like there's tiny little flecks. Is flecks the right word? Pepper particles going around your mouth to make it a bit more flavorful and kind of spicy-ish that the corn soup just doesn't have. And these are made by the same company. I thought they would have the exact same formula, but no. The chicken soup tastes pretty different. I do prefer the chicken one more because it has more flavor. However, the corn one is more creamier. So I guess it is up to preference. Okay, now we're gonna test out the physical ingredients. There it is. I'm checking out. God damn it. There it is. I'm checking out this thingamajig. I think it has corn, but it still has the powder attached onto it. That was honestly disgusting. Okay, I'm not that harsh. It just wasn't that good. There was like a bit of corn in it, but it's not very juicy. It's very dry, kind of hard. Definitely not what you expect out of a piece of corn. That was just like 30% of what I actually ate. 70% of it was uncooked powder. That might have been my fault. If I did a more thorough job actually mixing it, then that would have been a problem. Through my sunglasses, I'm pretty sure that's a piece of corn and just corn and no powder. And what my sunglasses look like, they just kind of darken everything in the room. And I don't know why I'm wearing sunglasses indoors, except to look cool. Oh. Gross. This is actually when I like start wincing while eating the food. That was actually pretty bad. The corn is the worst part of this corn soup. You done messed up. Dry and bad and not what you want out of a piece of corn. Alright, time for the chicken one. Hopefully it's not as bad. Probably just a chunk of powder. I was absolutely right. Yep. The thing is, I can't tell which part is powder and which part is actual chicken. Like, what? Is this it? No, it wasn't it. Is this it? No. It's all just uncooked powder. Honestly, the uncooked powder part doesn't taste awful. It's more like a punch of the main flavor of what you want, but it still doesn't feel like it's supposed to be there because it's just kind of mushy and supposed to dissolve in the liquid. Okay, I'm just gonna start drinking until I find a physical chicken piece. 10 seconds. Okay, I literally can't find any. So here are your choices. A really crappy corn or no chicken at all. Alright, so the physical ingredients, they're either non-existent or absolute garbage, which is why I have grilled some bread over here. Look, I don't have a toaster. And an extra note, these are
cold now, even though I grilled them. It's been like 20 minutes since I did that. All right, I got a piece of bread here. I'm just gonna drop it into the soup. Brutal Moose always has that sound bite that's just like plop. Plop. I'm gonna let it ruminate in there for a bit. Normally croutons are supposed to be very hard, but nope, not my croutons. The bottom part is wet from the soup and the top part is still dry, so it might be the perfect mix. I normally don't like eating things that are wet and mushy.
The rice has a nice mushy texture to it. I like it.
And this is no different at all. It's just, I don't like it. If these breads were still like actually warm and hard from the grill, like toast, they would be pretty good, but my grill just isn't good enough for that to make it into toast, and instead it just has small grill lines and it becomes cold pretty quick afterwards. I'm just gonna try one more bite and then I'm gonna go watch Happiness Charge Pretty Cure. Plop, plop. Did I say bite? Or just I definitely didn't say spoonful. All right, time to point all of these out. Presentation, maybe it has the same problem as the broth, but it's honestly a bit worse because it's not transparent enough for you to look at any of the physical ingredients. This one is just clouded and you can't really tell. So it's just a homogeneous liquid of one color. The fact that these two do have different colors though is interesting, and they do use different formulas, and that's a pretty big advantage for me. The fact that they cared enough to do that, even though they were pretty similar products, that's good. The physical ingredients themselves, actually, instead of like not really contributing anything to the meal, and instead detracts points from the entire meal because it was just that bad, and I wish they weren't not in there. Okay, presentation, I don't know, 50 physical ingredients minus 20. I know in Rome, whenever you burp, it's a sign of a good meal, but I just do it as a habit because I've been watching Rick and Morty. The actual cream soup itself, it's not like awful, I suppose. It is just one flavor and you have to drink all of it. It's just one homogeneous flavor, which is why I tried adding bread, because I didn't think the physical ingredients was enough. And even with this extra side dish, I didn't add, maybe it's worth it. I don't have great bread either. If you had croutons, I would say this meal is pretty worth it. Oh, because I like this one more. This is actually a 75 and this is a 65. The side dish of the bread, when combining it with the meal, I would say it adds 10 points to each, so 85 to 75, but only if you have bread. I don't know, as a recap, I guess the corn soup is creamier, this is a bit spicier, and bread makes everything better. Oh, and the physical ingredients are trash. That's it. Goodbye. I want to watch Happiness Charge Pretty Cure.